Masquerade saying Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zim Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kanakarike kutanga kukwepa nino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana subscriber, don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Zimbabwe tavigirai nyaya yaburizwa na Nelson Chamisa avo vanga vane an interview the South African news broadcaster, the newsroom vabuda vachivunzwa about several questions in Zimbabwe about the current state in Zimbabwe. Vavunzwa pamsoro penya yakataurwa Julius Malema yekuti Zimbabweans should arise against Zimbabwean youth should rise against the ZANU-PF-led government, since that's the only way yanokwanisa kuzviseva from the tyranny ya President Mnangagwa. And we say response yavapa to this question is why audio mamadzazo mukufunga mu comment section.
Well, I must say that the statement by Julius Malema is an indication of the situation and circumstances the people of Zimbabwe find themselves in. We are in a very difficult space. We have disputed elections. We did not agree in the manner and way the elections were conducted. And there's been that dispute. That dispute is before SADC. That dispute is before the African Union. And that dispute is clearly articulated by all international observer mission reports, that they came to the conclusion that the election in Zimbabwe was indeed illegal, irregular, and illegitimate, produced an illegitimate outcome. So that's where we are. And what Comrade Malema is saying is an indication of the desperate circumstances the people of Zimbabwe find themselves in. Almost 5 million Zimbabweans are in the diaspora. The reason being that the situation back at home is untenable. There's quality conditions, the high taxes for the people, the cost of living is very high, prices are skyrocketing, people can't afford basic commodities, and the life is just out of reach for men. Well, there's been an effort. For the first time, SADC came to the conclusion that the election itself was irregular, a first and historical position, because there's always been papering over, findings and solidarity of the different governments and leaderships. But what we have seen in the last election, the previous election, endorsed by SADC, but this one, SADC came out and said this election was not proper, and I think that effort must be appreciated. And of course, the African Union and COMESA and other international bodies. So yes, enough needs to be done, but I think the effort has to be appreciated. Comrade Malema is correct to say Zimbabweans have a duty to make sure that the situation is dealt with. We need freedom. We need democracy. We need free and fair elections. We need accountability of government. We need to deal with the tyranny that we have. For the past years, decades of tyranny, decades of autocracy, we thought that by having Mr. Mugabe going out or exiting the political stage, we were having a new dispensation, but we've seen that it has been a new deception. We have seen that we have actually jumped from a frying pan into the fire. The situation has gotten worse. Dictatorship is in the schools. Authoritarianism is consolidated, and that is where we find ourselves. Well, we'll resist that. In fact, all Zimbabweans are resisting it. Mr. Mnangagwa must understand that he has outstayed and overstayed his welcome. This previous election, he didn't win. You can't come through the back door, and once you have come through the back door, you want to extend the house that you have actually criminally occupied. That cannot be allowed, and we will not allow it. There has to be a proper election. There has to be a proper government. There has to be an understanding of the reforms that are supposed to be instituted and a transitional mechanism so that Zimbabwe is restored back to normalcy and democracy and majority rule. That is what we must be working on. This whole thing of extending his rule is a big issue for the people of Zimbabwe, and Zimbabweans are already clearly organizing themselves to make sure that they resist any unconstitutional and criminal, illegal extension of term, which term is actually contested. Well, look, I must say that I've been shouting my voice hoarse as a leader of the alternative to say we have to find each other as a people. There has to be political dialogue. There has to be a political settlement in Zimbabwe. There has to be an understanding on fundamentals around electoral reforms, around political reforms and constitutional reforms. And these reforms must actually be a product of Zimbabweans coming together to look at what should be dealt with in terms of the deficits we have seen. It's common cause that we have problems with elections, we have problems with governance. It's common cause that it is politics stupid, it is governance stupid, it is leadership stupid. We are where we are because of the crisis of governance. And we have said we have to come together. The problem is being ZANU-PF. They are not willing to look at the problems affecting their country. They want to look at exogenous factors and foreigners around the issues. The biggest challenge we have in this country is the breakdown of good governance and the lack of rule of law. That is what we must address. Disputed elections and disputed national processes.
Of Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwean youth must rise, because that nonsense will never come to an end as long as there is no unity of purpose against the tyranny, against the suppression of political wishes of Zimbabweans. So, ourselves at Pan-African Parliament, at the AU, at SADC, we have to have a political will to speak for the people of Zimbabwe. When it comes from us, it will have more weight than when it comes from Europe. Why? Because we're brothers and sisters. They will know it's a friendly fire. But SADC, AU, South Africa, they are failing Zimbabweans because it's a bruise-up. It's friendship. It's brother, leader, brother. When they meet, brother. And then when you ask what is the resolution, no one has taken any resolution. So you need a clear position from SADC which gives the timelines that by this time this should have happened. But otherwise, Mnangagwa is going to come back. And he's got nothing to offer at all. So Chiwenga is done. He will not be anything. They used him. Chiwenga is no longer the most powerful military man in Zimbabwe now. They have weakened him. So only the power of the youth of Zimbabwe can change the political status quo. And the Zimbabweans have to know that we are with them. Including Zimbabweans who are here in South Africa. When the elections, get into buses and go home. Go and fight from there. Because the humiliation that you are being subjected to here in South Africa is if you don't have your own homes. It's high time that you take it upon yourself and organize yourselves. EFF is there. We can even sponsor buses. Ora, go and vote. If you are here to study, you can come back, study, no problem, but go and vote.